What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is June the 27th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, we have two big ones today. PCE, which is coming out in roughly 7 minutes. So if I'm still ranting by that time, I'll cycle back and go over the data. And then you also do have at 9 a.m. Michigan consumer sentiment. That in the past has really moved the market as well. So just kind of be aware of that. Aside from that though, yesterday, it was kind of funny, casually, Trump just tweets saying that we signed a deal with China. Market did not give two craps whatsoever. Didn't really do anything to the market. So it's very comical. So I feel like the market wanted further clarity. This morning we did have this that did come out. So the state's tariffs on China are 30% and flip side, they are 10%. So that's good, but it doesn't seem to be really moving the market all that much. So I feel like the thing that the states was in dire need for was the minerals, the rare minerals that China does have. As far as I can see, there wasn't any mention of that. So that's going to be something to somewhat pay attention to. But in theory, this should really move up the market. Just maybe the market's already FOMO'd enough possibly, or maybe again, they're waiting for these types of data points. So both these data points are inflationary in nature. So one thing to keep in mind, I know a lot of people will say, hey, if PCE is lower, like we're going to have rate cuts, which is the logical mentality to have. But with what Powell recently mentioned, he's only watching the labor data. So he's already satisfied with the improvement that inflation is going in, but he kind of mentioned at the same time that he does anticipate inflation to increase because of the tariffs. So it's a very, very weird scenario. So it'd be interesting to see how the market does interpret that data. Aside from that, futures are looking pretty good. Dow is up 0.45, S&P up 0.45, NASDAQ up 0.55. Risk does appear to be on, so we are under the fear for the fear and greed index, under the greed category. As I've mentioned, I do feel like we should be under the extreme greed. A lot of biotechs are running up today. I'm going to be talking on one or two of them, but aside from that, today seems to be a pretty good day all around. Getting right to it, SOFI is flirting with that $17 mark, up 1.19%. Right now, 13.59% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 147 million shares. So not just with SOFI, but because of yesterday what did happen, you have a lot of heavily shorted stocks, like shorts doubled down yesterday for whatever reason. Doesn't logically make sense, but anticipate them to be fairly active around that 17 to also 1750 mark. So that is linked to options, as I've explained in the past. Shorts and market makers, they kind of have the same mentality. They would prefer to have as much call options expire worthless. So again, you might see a little bit of manipulation ultimately, but with it at 1698, trading between this R2 and this R3. So 1784 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Even best case scenario, I don't really see that being touched today. And then 1643 is going to be a strong support. Let's say data, PCE, Michigan consumer sentiment does come in a little bit worse for wear. Maybe that could be touched. Again, with SOFI though, it is considered rather overbought, so you could have that element really suppressing it. Again, worst case scenario. Moving on, Nike is up 10+% because of their earnings. Their key metrics weren't all that great, but they did kind of speak very positively about the future. So that's market clearly does like that. As far as shorts, they already are returning 1.02 million shares in the pre-market. 3.22% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 37 million shares. So it's not a squeeze play. So just on a side note, I like to bring up what they are doing. So 3.22 won't be anything crazy. So most likely today will be a return day. And I think it has most likely peaked right now. So if you are going to see any further upside, it would be associated to PCE and as well Michigan consumer sentiment. With it right now at 69 and change, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. 69.80 is going to be a strong resistance point. Flip side, 61.04 will be a strong support. I don't see that being touched whatsoever. So just watch for 69.80. Moving on, the ticker is RILY, so they are up 6.02%, a lot of volume, and that is because of this. So they did announce the sale of their 117.8 million 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗪. So yeah, I haven't really followed too much with the operations of this company for a while now, but clearly this liquidation is good, I guess, factoring in their market cap, which is only 91 million. So theoretically, it should actually go up a little bit higher than that, just based on that sell. But 51.16% of the free float is being shorted. So anticipate them to be fairly active today to try to suppress it in reality. And shorts honestly have been in it for a very long time, so I think that's they've been really plaguing it. But with it right now at 316, it is currently above this R3 on the fib levels. So moving over to the classic, 336 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Based on that news that did come out and FOMO in the market, I do feel like this 336 could be touched, but a lot of these speculative plays is all going to be largely dependent on PCE. Moving on, BBAI, no news. They are up 1.03%, a lot of volume. Also heavily shorted, so 27.53% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 79.29 million shares. Moving over to this, so with that 586, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. 517 is going to be a strong support. I don't really see that being touched even in the worst case scenario for today. And then 613 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Similarly with PCE, that could be that deciding point to really push it higher. And then last but not least, BBLG. So as I mentioned, a lot of biotechs are really moving higher. So this one's getting a lot of volume. The reason why this essentially is up 93+% is because they did hit NASDAQ compliance, the $1 bid price rule, and it looks as though they did it through a reverse stock split, a 1-for-6, so June the 10th. So they definitely do like their reverse stock splits, so be cautious with this stock. But 8.87% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 47,000 shares. So that's kind of what the market does like to squeeze. So somewhat heavily shorted, low float. Right now with that 799 trading between this R3 and this R2, 804 is going to be that next strong target / resistance, and then 696. Quickly popping back over here, so you're seeing a little bit of a pullback. So this is because of this. So PCE month over month for the core was a little bit hotter than the forecast, but essentially everything else seems to be a little bit in line or hotter. So the regular month over month came in at the 0.1, and then year over year came in a little bit hotter, 2.3 versus 2.2. So market seems to be moving down slightly, but we'll have to wait and see how the market does really digest this. Like I said, for those individuals paying attention to Powell, and right now he kind of has the power to cut, ultimately he's not really looking at this. He's looking at the labor data. So let me know your general thoughts on kind of what's floating around. What stocks are you buying? What stocks are you selling? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.